The Ohio Supreme Court ruled that the ballot language for Issue 1 must be changed. Issue 1 asking voters if the state constitution should be harder to amend.
Now, there's been a lot of controversy over the wording of this proposed amendment on the August ballot.
So our 3 News legal analyst Stephanie Haney joins us now on set with that ruling, what that means for voters. Stephanie, good afternoon to you. What is the Ohio Supreme Court saying that should be changed here? What are they saying?
Yeah, there will be some subtle changes that they're requiring here. What we saw today was a partial victory for the group One Person, One Vote. Those are the plaintiffs who brought this lawsuit. This is a nonpartisan group that advocates for voters' rights, and they have a lot of problems with Issue 1. This is the second lawsuit that they've filed related to it. Now, this lawsuit asked the court to require the Ohio Ballot Board to rewrite the Issue 1 language to make it more clear that Issue 1 would make it harder for Ohio voters to change our Constitution. So the court is requiring a few changes, most significantly to remove the word any referring to proposed amendments. This would clarify that if this passes, it would make it harder for voter-led constitutional amendments to get on the ballot and then pass, not amendments that come from the General Assembly. And the court is also requiring the board to correct an error related to the percent of signatures needed for citizens to get an amendment on the ballot. Now, this is pretty clear. The original text said 5% of voters in each county must sign a petition to make that happen, but it's actually 5% of the people who voted in the last governor's election. That's a big difference in terms of the signatures needed to get something on the ballot.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that this is a partial victory for One Person, One Vote. Why is it partial?
It is partial for them because they are not getting everything they wanted. The Ohio Supreme Court is not requiring 2 major elements that One Person, One Vote asked for. So first, the court said it doesn't have to state what the current law is, which is that simple majority to pass an amendment. And Democratic Senator Kent Smith described the second aspect that opponents of Issue 1 don't like about this ruling by calling it disappointing. He was referring to the Supreme Court saying that they do not have to change the phrase elevating the standards, which is a value-based phrase in describing Issue 1. He called that misleading and inaccurate as it relates to the August 8th ballot language, and that is the language used to describe the Issue 1, as I said. The lawsuit would have preferred the word raising to the word elevating. The court wasn't parsing those words. And on the Republican side, Ohio Representative Bill Seitz said that he understands and supports the court's ruling and that the changes they have required will facilitate a better informed public as they go to the polls on August 8th. So now what will happen is the ballot board, which is made up of mostly Republicans, they'll meet tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. They'll rewrite Issue 1 and they're expected to certify it right away.
Okay. So what about the other lawsuit that was related to this? Is there any update on that?
There is not. That first lawsuit brought by One Person, One Vote, they asked to stop the August 8th special election from happening. So we know the last filing in that case was May 25th. So from here, either party could file new documents, the court could ask for new information, or they could issue a ruling. We could get that decision any day now.
Wow.
Yeah. So Issue 1 would still require raising the threshold to pass a constitutional amendment to 60% because currently it's a simple majority, right?
That is correct. If Issue 1 passes and a voter-led amendment gets on a ballot, it would require 60% of the voters in order to amend the Constitution in the future, which is not the case right now.
Yeah. And here's where some of the irony comes in, because Issue 1 could pass with a simple majority, and so it could benefit actually from the very thing it's seeking to change.
It is quite ironic. That's what a lot of the opponents are saying about it.
Interesting stuff.
Thanks, Steph.
August 8th.
Thank you, Steph. Appreciate it.